All right, this Hangout on Air is live. It's Alicia Stringer here, always empowering success dreams. And here we are on our Millionaire Mindset Hangout. Today is March 31st, 2015, and it's so sunny here in Nashville. It's just been a wonderful spring weather. We have so much to be grateful for today because we're going to just find out these little known secrets of, how we can really set our gratitude forward to new levels. I'm so excited about this new today, about all those things we're going to discuss, because it's really going to put a new perspective on gratitude for you. I know I'm going to look at it in a whole new way about how you think about it, how you approach gratitude. And some people think it's just, it can be really simple, but when you're really, things have really gone down, you really have to deep inside for some gratitude and things you look at. So I'm so excited here. So let's introduce more people here and who's going to be talking about our gratitudes today. Let's go over to Keisha.
Hello everyone, Keisha Parker here from Philadelphia. I'm excited for today. I was not with you guys last week and I missed you so much, and all of our awesome audience and guests who's always so interactive. We appreciate you. So stay tuned. We have some powerful information for you, like Alicia said, that will help set that, what I like to say, attitude of gratitude, and get your mindset right for receiving abundance and just overwhelming wealth. I'm just excited, and I want to turn it over to Valerie.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Valerie Jampolsky here, the Mom Freedompreneur from Abundance Now. And I'm going to get into actually a little bit today because the whole concept of little known secrets of gratitude are a key to abundance, actually, really the key to abundance. And I'm a little bit, those of you who don't know me, if you're new coming across this, I'm a single mom. I've got twin 5-year-olds. We're going to do what I usually do, which I call the naked kid alert. I got them in their jammies. They're sleeping in the other room. Like, I love it. I live my life so that I can be home with my kids and work on our own schedule. They had a little troubles going to sleep last night, so I'm just letting them sleep in. They have a tendency, though, to strip their clothes off naked and run around. So just giving a little naked kid alert. And I used to be an entertainment attorney, and I do what I do so that I can talk about abundance and gratitude and things that I love, and be home with my kids and travel and do all the things that I love, living life of meaning. So what we want to, do you want me to get started in on this, or do you want to start it? Oh, and I want to give a shout out. Greta's not here with us today. You're with us in spirit. She is with her little guy Ethan. We're going to do a little bit more story on that. She's doing going through a special healing session with him. He had a bit of a physical incident, and she's got a very powerful story around that. So love, Greta. You're watching us. You're here with us. As I know all of you know, you love Greta. Where do we want to start? Ladies, do you want to start up? Do you want me to start in?
I'm going to start and share a little bit of Greta's story if you want me to.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, if you don't know Greta, she has, she always says a half a dozen. I'm like, what, 6? 6 kids that she's a mom of. And one of them is Ethan. And he had a little accident where he got cut like really close to his eye. And it was injured so bad that from, I guess, falling out of a tree and cutting open from this jagged branch, and he had to have some stitches really close to his eye. So she is very grateful that it didn't, I don't think it hurt his eye, but it was really close to it. And when your kids have this, accident that happens, or they're just so sick, and a traumatic event happens, I mean, like, their life feels like it's nearly over, and you have to like stand over and really plug in. And so she was just reaching out when, she shared a blog post on it that you should probably connect to, and I'll try to put that link here in the chat so you can kind of read the story from her view. It's always different. Everybody shares their story a different way, and the way that she had to go through, and I love how she's such a positive mom to her kids, and can really share she does a positive her kids going, just keeping their gratitude in check and making sure that they are, focused on the right reasons. Like if someone's complaining, I've heard her, going, okay, let's go do a gratitude check. And so at the end of her post, she just says all the things you're grateful for. And I think that's very powerful. When you go through a traumatic event like that, just to know that it was traumatic and you're in that moment, but also think about all the ways that you're grateful around the things of that happened because of that event or because of things that happened. And she just put in a really neat format on taking that gratitude to a new level, especially when this traumatic event happened with her family. So comment on her post and share some gratefulness that you've learned, some of her story, and how she was able to, get through it with her kids. And I know they are just so much stronger for having her in their lives and the way the way things happen sometimes. It just happens. Life happens. So I'm excited to hear about what you have to say about gratitude, Valerie. I know you've gone through some very traumatic events in your life, and from just growing up and things happening in your business to really where you put your perspective from these traumatic events to switch it around to focus on what you're grateful for and how that can turn your events around to, even if you have that traumatic event or something that you're trying to pull through and figure out the solutions, to focus on that gratitude fully and how it can help you grow and bloom in that situation, even though you do have that traumatic event or thing you're working out the solution for.
Yeah, and I'm putting myself back up. Thank you so much. And Greta, we're with you right now going through the incredible treatment. Ethan is so amazing. The energy of Greta literally flows through, and you can see it and feel it in Ethan with his absolute strength and happiness throughout the whole thing of everything that he's going through this physical situation. So with gratitude, here's the thing. There's two levels of it. Now most people, when they think of gratitude, and I'm going to talk on a very deep level, and I thought about, well, how am I going to do this? And I'm just gonna be my authentic me here, right? Really, what all this. I'm going to talk the way I would talk as if you're one of my dear friends, okay? And coming from my heart about what's going on, because a lot of folks, when they think about gratitude, whoop, my little dinging, I'm going to turn off the ding in here. When they think about gratitude, I know you think about you're grateful for things that are in your current physical experience, right? And for some people that might be where they need to start. Simple things. But I want to talk about the effect of what gratitude really is and what it does. And you'll understand why it's so important to do it. And then I'm going to get into methods of how to actually access it, because it's one thing to understand it's important, it's another to be able to actually go there. And I know what it's like, a little bit about my story. I've talked about it in the past, but for those that are new, I've had some crazy things happen in my life. Stuff as a child in my, my parents are different people right now, but they knew what they did at the time. But I was bullied as a child, and I've been raped. I've had situations of violence, domestic violence, where I've had, bones broken in my body, and even, work, being in situations where I've had bosses that really, were very abusive. And for a long time, I thought, well, is it me? Am I just labeling people? Are these things really happening? No, they really were happening. They really were happening. Well, what I was doing was I kept recreating myself in those situations. I kept attracting them to myself over and over again. Okay? And you can even go back. It's like, well, what about a child? Does a child ask for that? Well, here's the thing, and I'm just going to get real deep with you here, and that is that, and this is where a shift, it's about a shift in terms of it. You can choose to believe what you want, but I like to choose to believe this, because it is much more powerful to believe it. To believe you're a victim and horrible things just happen, or to believe that we chose. I believe that we choose our lives, and we choose them because we're coming here to bring ourselves and to bring our gifts to the world. This may not be what you thought on gratitude, but this is where it really comes from. We're here. We each have a unique gift to bring to the world. Every single one of us have something powerful and wonderful. And for me, I'm going to get emotional. That was a big shift to even understand, get that, and remember that. Frankly, to remember that here in this life, because from everything that happened, I attempted suicide. I was the furthest thing away from gratitude that you could possibly think. So any of you watching this, and I feel there's always for a reason that you're here. If that's ever crossed your mind, at age 10, I made my first attempt, and I made a bunch in my 20s, and until I made this shift of this awareness, that's what stopped me from going into that place. So, and also transitioning. I mean, from getting this affects you in business. When you're in a place, everything that in our lives happen because of where we are inside of ourselves. And the reality is, and this is where I'm going to get really deep on this. The reality is that we already have everything. And it may be hard to conceive of when you're looking in your physical environment and you may not physically see the health, the relationships, or the finance, or the peace of mind, wholeness that you want in your life to be manifested in your life. But the reality is we already have everything in the energy, in the energy. It's like it's out there already. And I'm going to give some examples that maybe you can abstract your mind into this, because it's about tapping. When you can get what I'm about to talk about here, I want to suggest to you to open up your life. And for those of you that may know what you may think you know what I'm talking about, open up, because there'll be another piece to it that's going to snap for you. That's just going to snap for you. Okay? So, and it's having this awareness that, like for example, we're right now, you're seeing me on the internet. You're looking at me. I don't know if you're on a computer. You might be looking on your cell phone. You may be watching. You may be on a tablet or you're an iPad, and you're watching this. All right. The technology that you're looking at me on right now did not exist 100 years ago. Physically did not exist. Was it possible? Was the science there available for it? Yes, it was. It's always been possible, right? But the physical manifestation wasn't there yet. Okay, but it's always been there. The ability, to have electricity. If you go back, however many, hundreds of years ago, there was no electricity. Was it possible? Yes. The world, the way science, the way the world is made up in our physical universe, yes, it was possible. Right? It just had manifest. Even a table, the idea, like I'm sitting here at a table, somebody at some point in time had the idea in their minds for the design of this table. It existed inside of them. It existed before it became manifest. Right? We already have everything. Things beyond we can even possibly think of right now. We already have it. All we're doing, and what we're doing here, is remembering that and tapping into the wisdom that's all around us everywhere, accessing it so that we know which actions to take to make it possible. For example, we do a business, and because I wanted to be able to do what I wanted, to be home with my kids and do all that. I knew there had to be a way. And I set the intention for it, and then I came across it here, and I found the exact system that we use, right? So that I can have this, and I can talk about stuff that I love in abundance, and actually do things that feed my life and feed my soul and make a difference in the world, live and give my gift to the world, right? But there's steps with the steps of exactly what to do and how to make that happen, right? But it's all about seeing the possibility, remembering it. So when you can feel, and what happens when you're in a place, and we talk about visualization. We've talked a lot about visualization, all of this, but a lot of it is you're raising your vibration to be in sync with the very thing you want to attract to yourself. Okay, and that could be the idea of what action to take next. You're attracting the actual physical manifestation where the universe starts moving things up. And I mean, I know if you take a look in your life, you're going to see that something that happens in your life that may look like it was a bad thing, if you look at it from a certain perspective, if it didn't happen, it wouldn't have led to this in your life that ultimately leads you here. For me, all the things that happened in my life made me dig in deep. and remember who I am and do a lot of personal development, and I wouldn't be here right now with you to assist you and have somebody watching this here right now is having a shift, right? And would not be able to do that if those things hadn't happened. So it's all about shifting your energies, because when you're in a higher vibration, a bunch of things happen. A bunch of things happen. You attract to you, when you're in the vibration of what it is that you want, you attract it physically manifest to you. Things start moving in the universe, including your own wisdom of what actions to take. It operates on 2 levels. Now, what most people don't know about gratitude, and this is a biggie, is that it is the highest vibration that you can have. When you're in a place of absolute gratitude, you're attracting it all, whether it's physical health that you want, whether it's relationships, whether it's financial, all of that. When you're in a place of gratitude, you're opened up, you are in vibration, you're in sync with the very thing that you want. When you're in pain and blame and anger and resentment and all of that, or feeling in doubt, what you're doing is you're literally attracting the manifestation of that. Right? And so there's gratitude for specific things in our lives, which helps. But what's really amazing is when you can tap in, and it's happened to me. I'm going to give an example of one time, the first time that this happened, and then I'm going to pass it on to you guys, and then we'll get into like specific steps of some methodology of how to transition from one level of gratitude to another. I just want to give an example of the most powerful thing of where I became personally aware of this feeling of when you can have, and I've actually got it on my Facebook page, but I just feel grateful. Just where you literally feel grateful. Can you feel grateful in general without having any specifics? It's a powerful state of being to be in. And when I was 14, I was sitting in a car with my parents, with my mom. She was going into the bank, and we was up in Canada. I lived up in Edmonton, and it was cold. I don't even up in Canada. It's cold. I mean, it gets like 20 below. And I am not a person that loves the cold. I've always been someone, I love the warm. And so I was one of those, for me, I would never be somebody that could see the beauty in the snow or anything, because it was always so cold, and I was actually allergic, believe it or not, to the snow falling and melting. I was allergic to the mold in the air. So I did not have the strongest of positive relationships with the snow, and there's a reason why I say this to you. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking out the window, I'm in the car, and even though it was like really cold outside, the sun was shining, blue skies, and there was snow everywhere, of course, because it was Edmonton. And the sun was shining, and the snow was glistening with the sun. And I happened to be listening to some song of Stevie Wonder on the radio. And, I go right back into it. And all of a sudden I had this thought process that went through in my brain where I was thinking, why? I don't know how I got there, but I did. And I was looking at the snow and the sun, and I was seeing, everything is made up of molecules, and those molecules are made up of ultimately with electrons and energy and all of that, and that the essence of all of that is the essence of absolutely everything physical on the planet, everything in the universe. It's all made up of that. And I had this massive just awareness that we're all connected, that we are all this connection of absolutely everything. And I felt this joy of, I don't know how else to call it, but it's really the love intelligence of the universe. You want to call it God, you want to call it essence, you want to call it love, you want to call it whatever you want to call it. I felt the connection within my heart. I just felt it. Like there's just love within absolutely everything, the essence of everything, and it's there. We're in these physical bodies and we're separate from it most of the time, and that's part of what we chose to come here, so that we can, in a moment-by-moment basis, remember who we really are, remember and give our gifts to the world, to bring love and bring that to absolutely everything and everywhere that we are at. And there's no accident that you're here watching this right now, because there's a part of you that needs to remember, and is remembering this as I speak. And when I was in that space, all of a sudden, it was like to feel that essence. When you can tap into it, some people get to it through meditation. You can get to it by watching positive audios. Listening to, watching videos, audios, that sort of thing that pulls you in. You can do, there's lots of different ways to get into that overall space of it. But and we'll get into some more of that, but when I was there, when I got tapped into it, it's this feeling of that connection of knowing that it's me and it's who I really am, it naturally bubbles up, this feeling of gratitude for just life itself and the way it is. Real life, not the external circumstance, but what the essence of everything is, because when we're tapped into that, when I'm tapped into that, I attract the most amazing things. It happens. Things just move into my direction, and when I'm sitting there in worry and doubt and fear, that's when I attract physical things in my environment that reflect that. And I'm just going to give one quick jump in of sometimes a way that I connect into it. And for me, it was nature. But sometimes when I was in my worst of places, I could start with just looking at a plant or looking at a tree or looking at the ocean or even getting a video of the ocean or picture of the ocean. But if you have the ability to be around a plant of anything in nature, there's something about the energy of it. I would tap right into it, and I could feel that, and I just feel gratitude for life itself. I don't know how else to put it, but it's this very powerful energy. And then you can have grateful for the relationships and the different things in your life. I'm just saying, I know when your physical life is a living hell around you, when there's lots of things that if you were to just live your life in reaction to what's physically around you, or the relationships you might have currently manifested around you, or the physical health condition that you manifested in your life, that if you focus on that, that might be hard to come to a place of gratitude. Gratitude comes from a much deeper place. It comes from a much deeper place and a deeper awareness. And when that comes up, ironically enough, the physical body, there's studies on it, the body changes. You can have physical body changes, your relationships, the way you deal with people and who's in your life change. Everything just goes, and it just starts moving. Coming from that place. I know I just kind of downloaded and dropped a lot in there, but I would love to, and I know, Keisha and you, Alicia, you've got like so much to add to this, but that's where I wanted to start with, and maybe see if we have any comments of any of you folks on the page, if you've been commenting or thoughts, things of your experience to add or questions or anything, we'll go there too, but I'm going to pass it on back to you, Keisha and Alicia.
So I'll just jump in really quick.
Yeah, I know you got good stuff on this, Keisha.
Everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. Everyone is saying that they're so, glad to be here, that they love the Hangout. We have some new guests. Patricia's here. This is the first time with us, and we appreciate you. We have Adina here again, and we have Greta able to tune in with us at her appointment. But we just want to let you know that we are grateful for you here with us. So sharing your comments, anything that resonated with you, some of your stories or something that you would like to share with us. But I wanted to share that I truly understand what you're stating, Valerie, the difference of being grateful outside of the circumstance, not relative to any circumstance, just being grateful. Mm-hmm. And I realized and you're lucky and blessed to have realized that at 14 years old. I'm thankful that my spirituality, my religious beliefs helped me to understand more about that, because the Bible teaches us to be grateful for all things, the good and the bad. And so, but as you're going through those things, you don't really understand that. At least I know that I didn't. And like you, I have been through some abusive relationships, and it's so funny to me that we are all so connected here. And the way that it happened, we would never expect that we would be connected, but we were. And we have so many commonalities, and I just listening to you talk, I'm realizing that more and more and more. And like you said, so we are all connected, like you said. But back to my story, I didn't really understand gratitude until about 2009 or 10, something like that, 2010. And guys, I'm 45 years old with 4 beautiful children, and I've been married, was married with my children's father for, my 3 daughters' father for 14 years, and my son's father for 6 years. So I've been in some, long-term relationships, but they weren't the best relationships. And when I went to this conference with someone called Lisa Nichols, I don't know if you are aware with her, but she is so amazing. She had us do an exercise that where if it was the last moment in life, who would we reach out to? What would we be thinking? And it hit me so hard. And she had us call at least 3 people. And she also had us look at the things in life that maybe we weren't too excited about. You know, the things like Valerie shared that I'm sharing with you about my relationships. The fact that I didn't have my father in my life for a lot of my years growing up as a young girl. She had me realize that all of those things were stepping stones, and they were things to build my muscles, to help me to be a strong woman. So I was made more aware of my value regardless of the circumstances. Regardless of the circumstances, no matter what it looked like, I have, like Valerie said, everything in me to turn it around. But it first comes with becoming more aware, changing your perspective, and just keep building your mindset, keep reconditioning your mindset. And so with groups like us, the books that we read, we do monthly books. All of those things are ways that I connect to my gratitude. I mean, I don't do it as frequently or as consistently as I should, but I used to write every morning 10 things that I'm grateful for. And even some things that haven't occurred yet, I'm grateful for it because I believe that they will. So, I mean, it's powerful what we're sharing and what we're sharing here today. And prayerfully, everyone that's out there really, really understands the power that you have within you to really change your life, change your atmosphere, your environment around you, and change the way that you look at things so that you have more gratitude in your life. You'll be more happy. You will be more content, more satisfied with just changing and realizing, acknowledging gratitude in your life. So, Alicia, did you have anything you'd like to share?
Oh, you're so powerful, Keisha. All those you've gone through so much experience and trials to make you so much stronger. And I see from your examples from, knowing that you're being more gratitude takes more responsibility. And you found ways that even though all these events and stuff has happened, you didn't let that control you. And I felt like in some of my parts that I was leaning on other relationships and kind of, saying, they'll help me or they'll get my way. And it's really, I need to take control and being responsible and being gratitude for what I can do and not be so dependent on, different things around me. And that's when you really get the gratitude check. You're like in that environment and you don't want those type of relationships, don't want that reaction to come to you, and you're realizing what do you want, because you're taking responsibility now on who you are and taking ownership of really understanding that I need to be grateful because of who I am and what I can control, and don't let other things really control those aspects, because you need to create those powerful relationships that you do need to have and things that you want to create in your life, and don't let those little factors come in the way, and being more grateful, like you said, for things that haven't happened yet will make you more responsible for what you do want to create and put in front of you and in your life. So you shared some very powerful aspects that can shift the way people even say how they're grateful for what is around them and what they can control and be responsible for. And I think being gratitude does come on to several different layers on, like Valerie described, on how it really can be spiritual and to new different levels of what you are comfortable with, because some people don't really think of it as a spiritual level, but it's our inner being of how we feel comfortable with who we kind of keep our focus with, whether it is toward the Lord, whether it is in prayer, whether it is people call the universe. I have a hard time saying that, but I mean, everybody has their perspective of what they feel comfortable of being more of who they are in their inner self, of sharing their gratitude for others. And I think it's very clear on how people want to express their gratitude and be respectful for that. So we can understand more about them and the way they share gratitude towards others, because that's the first thing we want to do, to give back to more people and share how powerful we are to give gratitude and edification to so many people out there. And I think it's very respectful to understand how they word that. And I know the top product inside of Empower, on the power of influence, this product really discusses, the power of words and how you use those words to different people in the different ways. And it did challenge me spiritually. I'm going to tell you that. I was like, is this for preachers? Because this product really goes deep. So get inside the top product inside of Empower, and really will share how you use the words to influence people and how you use that. So I think it does discuss, gratitude in a way that you use your words in directing to your focus on whether it is inner spiritual, whether it is how you take responsibility towards your relationships, your environment, so many different aspects, so many different layers in your life, and it becomes so much more powerful. As Keisha says, you become a stronger person inside yourself, and how you are taking the next step to deal with certain situations. You're going through this deep valley and you just don't know how to get out, and that next valley is a little not as deep because you've already made that strong valley. You said, I've gone through divorce, I can get through any situation, and I didn't realize you've gone through it twice, and I'm just, I never want to go through it again. You've gone through this deep valley, and you just become stronger with every situation, knowing how stronger you reach out to more gratitude in your inner being, to how you deal with certain things and focus on that gratitude, because you've gone through this traumatic and you can't focus on that anymore. You have to focus on that gratitude to get you out of whatever struggle. You have that struggle and you don't want to discuss it, you don't want to think about it, you want to focus on the gratitude to get yourself out. And that
the powerful thing that I found in all of those things, and I was just sharing with Elizabeth, Elizabeth, I believe Ferrero, I don't want to say her last name wrong, it's hyphenated, she's in our group. We were just talking about the same very thing, being grateful through it all. And so many people don't understand, Keisha, how could you be grateful for that? I'm grateful for the lesson that I learned in that circumstance. I'm grateful for, like Valerie said, I shifted this way, or I went through it so that I can get to where I am now, which is an awesome and amazing place. So I'm thankful for it. Like, you're thankful for that? Yes, I am. I'm so grateful to God. So, guys, I think just not seeing yourself as a victim, but seeing yourself as a victor. In regard, no matter what, always see yourself as a victor, victorious in every circumstance, and then you can be grateful. So if you don't view yourself, that deals with that perspective again. So if you don't view yourself as this victim or this person going through this trials, woe is me, I mean, it can be difficult. But when you put your mindset and your state of mind and your frame of mind, and as Valerie said, abundance mindset, where you realize that everything works for your good, there's nothing, you can be so ecstatic about that. Valerie?
I love that. I love that. Here's my little guy coming in the background.
Oh.
I told you, naked kid.
Naked kid alert.
Sweetie, go sit down. Go sit down, sweetheart. So, oh, my goodness. Okay. He's behind us now. Okay. I know. I love you, sweetie. Okay.
You're so funny.
1 second, tell me something, and I'll be right back, because I got something really powerful. I love what both of you just shared. I'm going to pass it back up to you in just a sec.
Okay. Valerie has those moments. We all do.
Let me check to see if we have any comments from our viewers.
Oh, yes. Michelle's sharing some really great books that that helped her as well, what she's reading. So there's some really great things that we can keep focusing on. There's so much different content, that you can share with us. Patricia is grateful for the things we haven't manifested yet. It's just so powerful to deliver on that higher level, and she says a quicker level, because when you focus on things that you do where you want to get to, I call it that vision, that focus, you do get there a lot faster. And just focusing, what would be next? What would be next that you're focused on? Just like we've gone through that powerful exercise, and what would that do for you? You know, always be grateful for that next level.
And Michelle, I believe Michelle left that powerful book for women, but we don't want to leave out our men. So I know we have some men out there watching us. Please share one of your powerful stories of how you became more grateful, or where that shift happened for you in your life. We would love to hear it, because as you know, this is not geared just for women, but if you have a powerful, strong woman that is in tune with her gratitude and her mindset is powerful and positive, you have a great woman by your side. So guys, we want to hear from you too.
Great, and we're back here again. Whoop. Okay. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Okay. One sec, guys. Sorry, thought I had it covered.
That's what you get for being a mom. You have to always be ready for anything. And
with twins, boy, I tell you, I know.
So many people share these in different ways. They post little Post-it notes around their house and grateful, and you set them in the morning. And it seems like the month of Thanksgiving, everybody shares them on their Facebook wall of pictures every day, what they're grateful for. And I think it's helpful to, no matter what you do, is change it up and just get in a routine. Share 5 things you're grateful for to 5 other people, you know, and tag them. And anything that just happens in your life, just always be grateful. So I'm always fun to watch through my Facebook wall and seeing so many people grateful for so many things. I think that's so encouraging.
Thank you, Joan Dyson. We're grateful that you were able to join us today.
Yeah, thank you. And I love that idea. This is a tip. When I was, those of you that may not know, I'm very open about this, but I created having my kids. And I was going through fertility treatments. It's one of the most stressful things that you can possibly go through. And I was in a particular support group at the time for going through the process, and they had us do something, which was what they called news and goods. And if you had a partner, I was doing it by myself, so I actually ended up doing this with my mom. You pick someone important in your life. And I would, at the end of the day, we would report to each other 5 things wonderful things that happened during the day, news and goods. And it does something powerful, because you have in the back of your mind all day, you're looking for good. It makes a shift. It's not just about in the moment where you feel grateful for something. It created a shift throughout the whole day, where instead of looking for things that could be going wrong, and focusing on that, which of course brings more of that to you on many different levels, both energetically and vibrationally, and it affects what you do and how you do, I mean, everything. Instead, I was on the lookout, because I was going to give my news and goods at the end of the day. What were the positive things that happened? And it could be the littlest of things, right? And it's a good starting point of a shift, where you start to see the world differently, because the ultimate goal is to live through life where no matter what is going on around you. And this is where I kind of wanted to bring back. I'm thinking, oh my voice, I got a little distracted here. Alicia, what you were talking about, you were talking about the mass influence formula, but I mean, the core, the beginning space of that is actually an entire whole module on beliefs, and what beliefs are helpful to believing, right? And you know, I'm going to set out to you that if your belief is that, you know, everything happens to you, and that's just the way it is, your result of your life is a reflection of that. A lot of what your life is a reflection of your past thinking. And the reality is that it's the things that we want that are not physically manifest in front of us. And we say, you know, be grateful for them. But the reality is, and this is where the deep awareness comes in, is that you literally already have them. They're already in existence. That was the example. And it's a massive shift to go, like, you can hear folks like Michael Bernard Beckwith say things like, oh, all of my needs are met, all of my needs are met. It's one thing to understand it here, it's another to feel it here, right? When I was sitting there and I was in a body brace because I had broken bones, and it hurt to move, right? Was that, or somebody, I'm just thinking of like an extreme physical situation, or you're looking at, you're sitting there and you're looking at your financial situation, and you currently don't have more than enough money that your bills are just can have your bills on automatic pilot, that they're automatically paid. You have more than enough money to pay your bills, right? If that's not your current situation, where you have the health that you can move and breathe and do and live in absolute, feeling of comfort with everything that you do physically. You have relationships where in your life everything is loving and communicative all the time. And if you'll notice, I'm doing something very on purpose right now, because I'm wanting to bring you guys into this feeling of positive space. I'm describing the situation from the positive perspective. I didn't say, and you'll feel the difference of this if I say, I don't know how to pay my bills, versus not having more than enough money than I could possibly have to pay my bills. There's a shift. There's an emotional shift when you go into that imagining that space, having more than enough money to pay those bills. It's taking everything in your life and going into the space of what you already have, because you really do already have it. What's the problem has been is that you're buying into the negative thoughts. I've talked about this in the past. There's thoughts out there floating around, and we think we are our minds. We're not our minds. Your mind is not you. Those thoughts that flip through, we have a choice to believe them or not believe them. And I will tell you this, if they have a heartfelt space, if they feel happy when you think the thought, right? If there's a feeling of happiness when that thought comes across, it could be that there's a difference between wisdom, which comes from source, which comes from the love intelligence of the universe, which comes from your subconscious, if you want to call it that, if you want to call it God, whatever you want to call it. But there is a positive energy essence that literally underlies everything of who we are. If you want to believe in love, that love makes the world go round, it's all the same thing. I don't care what semantics you want to put on it, but that if it's coming from a positive feeling, if there's a positive feeling, it's coming from the wisdom. If there's any kind of a negative feeling, you're buying into a story. You're buying into something that just isn't real. And the reality is that if you've ever had a dream of anything that you've wanted, even the split second even before it hits your conscious mind, it's already yours. It's already yours. And when I stepped into that awareness, when I plug into it, and it's a moment by moment practice of it, because we're so practiced to, and that's part of the big challenge. We came into this life, into this being, where we're separate from this awareness, and then we bring ourselves back into it and start manifesting and encouraging other people. Like everything that happened, like Alicia, my goodness, now everything that you've gone through, you can encourage other people, right? They'll go, wow, Alicia went through that, and look at her, look at what Keisha's doing, look at, everything that's happened. When I talk about it, someone can say, because I remember when I was totally suicidal, I would not listen. I could not hear from anybody talking to me that there was another way to feel about my life unless I knew that they'd already also been there. It's just it's a natural thing. A lot of people, for folks, it's easier to trust when you know someone has been where you've been.
You can now be a testimony to that person, to those people.
Right. I know that darkness. I know what it's like. I know what that darkness is.
I overcame it, and I overcame it, so you can overcome it as well.
Exactly.
Be that victim.
Exactly, and doing things like plugging into stuff like this, plugging into audios that we have accessible, plugging into reading, plugging into community, where you have a community of people that always support being in this space, the space of awareness of our dreams and believing it, speaking. We talk about speaking life into existence, speaking your dreams. I mean, there's so many people who speak. I am going to have 100. I'm going to help create 100 millionaires a year. That's a vision. Right? And you keep speaking it and speaking it and speaking it. You speak the vision. I think of Martin Luther King. I have a dream. I'm getting emotional. I have a dream. I have a dream. And he spoke his vision before it was manifest, and he knew. It's like, that's before it was physically manifest. And feeling, it's that feeling of gratitude, because the gratitude can come from when you have the awareness that it really is already yours, and all you got to do is just trust and keep moving forward. Trust what's in front of you for the next actions to take towards it, and keep that. And the more, and gratitude for the more you can be grateful for every little piece. Like, I'll give an example. I got a deal, but I had some kooky thing happen. I did a trip. I went up to Canada. I was visiting family. I was so grateful that I was able to go there and be there for the time that I wanted to be there, simply because I could. I didn't have to ask my boss. I could do what I wanted to do. Anyways, but they made a mistake. And while I was up in Canada, okay, what happened was they didn't put me on a Canada calling plan. And I ended up with this crazy bill where I had, what do you call it? Was being charged roaming charges. Right? And I needed to get on the phone, hop on the phone with Verizon and everything, speak with customer service and get people to assist with me. And using this space of gratitude, and I placed the intention that that's it. I have wonderful people that are going to assist me. Because I've had experiences before. You know, you call and you ask for customer support, whatever it is that you're dealing with, and you may or may not get the most amicable person on the other side of the phone. But the reality is, all these people, everybody, all of us have this incredible, beautiful space and wisdom and heart and love. We all are all those things. It's what are we pulling up out of that person in the moment? And I would start with the conversation. Thank you. I'm so happy I connected with you. You know, I'm so excited. You know, and you're inheriting a big mess here of stuff that's happening. I'm so happy that I'm connected with you to help me with this. Thank you so much. And I really meant it. And then I was pulling up the best. I would say, here's what's been happening. Here's what's going on. And these people would go out of their way to do things that maybe aren't within the rules or the policy or whatever, to make things move and fix and adjust a situation, right? And that's always the case. It's like when you come from, you activate it from within, it starts affecting everybody and everything around you, and all that you do and the way you interact with people. It literally adjusts. It starts moving things. And I can see the difference from when I'm in a space of gratitude, where I'm aware, like in the moment. I mean, you can feel, it's amazing that it's possible to even feel great gratitude for, it's life itself, for the way things work. It's like when you get this, that it's already yours. Quick example, and I think I've talked about this before, but I think it's so powerful. Someone that we all, you know, a lot of us know, but he was multi-millionaire now. But there was a time, I think he's got like 5 kids or something like that, but at the time he had a few kids, and he was young, and he didn't have enough to even buy a loaf of bread for his kids. And he came across a mentor, and this mentor was encouraging him this very thing of feeling the gratitude and feeling that you already have. Any manifestation exercise, for those of you that have worked, as I know you're watching, that I've done manifestation exercises with you, and it's something that we have accessible within our system. I guide you to use it. But it's all about feeling that you already have what it is you're looking to manifest, right? And he would go and drive in neighborhoods. He didn't have enough to buy a loaf of bread. And he would be in a neighborhood that he wanted to live in, and he would feel the excitement. You know? It's like that kid before Christmas Eve. You don't have your presents yet, but you're excited. Or if you've ever gone on a trip, you know that trip is planned, and you've got it, and you're going on this trip, right? You got your ticket, you got your thing, it's all planned. You're not there yet, but you're excited. You start living and seeing everything that's happening. You're excited and so happy. It's that excited, grateful. It's like, oh, so happy that it's mine. Right? Even though you're not even there yet. You're not physically there, but that excitement, that energy, all of that. Or you're planning the trip. You know, it's like, where am I going to go? Let's pick. Which place am I going to go to? Right? You know? And it's that space. And you can have that. I mean, when I tapped into the space, for me, I'll be honest, when I had the body issue with the broken bones and everything, I went into a meditation that I was doing at the time, and it may have taken me about 5 hours, about nothing else I could do right that day. You know, I'd wake up, it's like, okay, am I going to watch TV, or am I going to go into this? These are my choices for the day. I can't physically do anything other than lie here, right? So I chose, this is what I'm going to do, and I went into meditation, and I pulled up a space inside where all of a sudden it's like something just lifted. It can come from meditation, it can come from reading, it can come from connecting here, it can come from making conscious decision. The more you do it, it's like a muscle, right? Where all of a sudden something just lifts. It's kind of like, you know, where they say I was blind and now I can see, or you see the world through different eyes. You can have two people standing in the same spot, seeing the same situation, and they're going to see it through their own eyes. It's really having that space of awareness of what is possible. Even like I was here, Northridge earthquake. I don't know why I'm going to say this because it just came up, so I'm going to speak it. I opened my life to say I'm going to talk what needs to be said. So there was a Northridge earthquake in Northridge area of where I live here in Los Angeles back in the 90s, early 90s. And I remember when it hit, I happened to have been lying on the couch. I'd fallen asleep on the couch. I jumped up. It was like 3 in the morning, and they tell you here, you know what you do. You stand under a doorway, whatever. I was so conditioned, my body just went whoop, and I was there. And I was meditating at the time, and I immediately, it was a chant. I started chanting out loud. My reflex reaction was to go into that space right away. And what ended up happening was I ended up all of a sudden feeling like I was the eye of what was happening. It was like the calm in the eye of the storm. And I started, instead of being in reaction and fear, there was stuff flying. I mean, I was almost killed. A big thing of books went poof, and I just missed it by like that. I mean, stuff was flying all around me, and you could hear the world was shaking. I mean, literally, you talk about being in an environment, everything's shaking, and things are flying and breaking and crashing, and you hear it going on all around you, right? That's an earthquake, right? And I'm standing there, I'm in the doorway, and I'm holding the doorway, and I'm going in this all of a sudden, in the eye of the storm, and instead of being in reaction to it, I felt like I was this core of calm and source, of core of protection, and I just went, and I sent out a space of gratitude that A, I felt it, and B, that I could be it. And I sent out this wave I started out with all the people physically around me, went into anybody around me in the neighborhood, in the city, family, friends, the whole thing, anybody. And as soon as it stopped, it was amazing. All of a sudden, there were all these voices calling, "Are you okay? Is everybody?" I mean, I had immediate protection. Right away, bodies, voices going, "Is you okay? Is everybody there?" It's like, and the whole environment of where I lived, we all banded together, and everybody was there supporting and helping each other. It was the most beautiful thing. I was in bliss all day right after that earthquake because there was such a beauty, of a joy, of a wonder that came up from all these strangers, just love and connection, and people calling and helping each other out after this earthquake. That's, to me, what happened in the earthquake. Yeah, a bunch of stuff broke. My TV was smashed to bits. But, you know, I mean, it's like there's some powerful beauty and the transition of what that led to. So many things happened as a result of that, right? And I don't care what situation that you're in. There's a way to access that, and when you do that, that's when it becomes what could seem, from a limited viewpoint, a myopic viewpoint of just, you know, it could seem like it's the worst thing that ever happened, but it becomes the best thing that ever happened, whatever's going on in your life. And having that place of gratitude for anything that's going on, it's more a matter of just knowing that it's there. Knowing that it's there. You don't even have to understand it. You don't even need to understand it. It's just like reaching for it, reaching for that feeling of asking. Feeling when you start asking the questions of what is life showing me here, what's here for me now, and seeing and making the practice of allowing yourself to daydream, allow yourself, like, you know, okay, I have my life, I've got more money than I know, than I have to pay my bills. What does that feel like? Okay, I have that right now. Okay, what do I need? What do I want? What can I do? Okay, I would love to. Where would I travel? I want to travel here. What does it feel like? I have absolute health. I'm breathing. Like when I was lying there in bed with my kids, I was on bed rest with the twins. I had to be put on bed rest while I was while I was pregnant with them, literally fighting for their lives. And I could have been in there going, I'm fighting for their lives. But instead, I went to a place of, and it was something, again, hi, Sweet Pea. I had someone, my sister told me, she saw me. They were 5 years old. We were at Disneyland walking with them. I immediately latched onto that and went, okay, 5 years old. We're walking with them at Disneyland. You guys have seen me doing this, right? So, I mean, I'm lying there in the hospital, very pregnant, and it's like at the possible loss of losing me and the kids, right? But that's what I focused on. I focused on what I wanted, and I knew it was already mine. I mean, I could feel the goosebumps. Here we were walking. We were headed to Small World. And anytime I would ever have a thought of, I have thoughts of fear, like as a mom, I could go through these little thoughts of stuff was going to happen. I would jump to things like, and why for me this is it, I'm jumping to my my deathbed where I'm a very old woman, really, really old, and I'm lying there, and I know I got my kids and my grandchildren. They're there, and to have that means they're safe. If I can be on my deathbed, a very old woman, and I've got my kids there, and they are grandparents. Their kids are no, they weren't grandparents. Well, actually, I think one of them might have already just had one. That's how old I get, right? But it's like knowing that if they can be old enough to be parents and be there, then everything is safe, right? And then I'm feeling into a space of happiness, a space of knowing that everything is wonderful. Whatever it is for you, you'll know what that is for you, of whatever it takes for you to jump into that space and knowing that it's yours. And the fact that you can think it, it's already yours. And then you're just living your life, taking action, and you can appreciate it. It's like once you start one, it's like it gets easier. For anybody that exercises, once you start exercising, more and more of it gets easier and easier. You could be standing in line. Okay, you're standing in line, waiting for something. Start looking around. Maybe there's a plant. There's something. You're in traffic waiting. Everything's happening for a reason. Oh, perfect opportunity. I'm going to listen to some audio. Isn't this great? I'm in traffic. I get to listen to more audio. Oh, I don't know what's moving in the motion to get things to happen to come to me, but wow, something cool is happening, and I get to listen to audio. Isn't that cool? I get to listen to something that's going to raise my vibration. Something magical is going to happen from that, right? It's a moment-to-moment kind of transition. I don't know, is that... I'm going to pop over to you guys. Who wants to hop out here? I think I hear my guy calling in the background.
Yeah, you mentioned so many powerful different things, and I just see that you're focusing on when that situations that like do come up with you. You know, you have to stop and what do you, being aware of it, and what do you do? What is your reaction to it? And I think that's very powerful because we all react and have to go into that space according to us and how we handle it. Because like me, people know I just shut down. I don't answer. I said, I'm not going to answer you. I'm not going to go into reaction mode. You just have to stop and be aware of how you do want to act, kind of how you want to react to that situation, and be involved and be more in that gratitude. So I really do appreciate that, Valerie. Keisha, if you want to go ahead and mention any of the comments that might be relevant, we appreciate everybody sharing their questions and concerns on how they're dealing with their gratitude in situations, you know.
Well, there was just one comment that I did want to mention. Trisha Lee had a question for us in reference to when we talked about different people in our lives that may not be the best for us. And her question was saying, what do you do about people that put thoughts in your head to engage you in gossip, especially when you do the wrong thing and engage in it? She's struggling with that right now. It's driving her nuts, and she's thankful for superwomen like us. And what I shared with her is that, as we stated, connecting to powerful people like us that can help you be more aware. So the great thing about it is that she's aware that that wasn't the best actions or the best behavior, and that she can be grateful that she's aware. You know, not beat herself up, and just continue consistently to, like Valerie said, speak positivity, speak things into life, don't edification, and just be mindful of that when those people come to you. Just push that away. I know, sometimes we're all human. My family will be making some comments, and sometimes I may make a comment, and I say, you know what, guys, come on now, let's stop. Let's not do this. That's not powerful. That's not positive. I tell my children all the time, we want to speak things into existence. We want to speak positivity. We want to speak good things, So if it's not good, if it's not edifying someone, then you don't want to, act on it. And the more you do that, the less you'll see that you're engaging in those type of actions. So Trisha Lee, don't beat yourself up, but be thankful and grateful that you are aware of your actions, and now that you're making changes so that you can behave or act in a better way. So I don't know if anyone else wanted to chime in on that. I know we're late and close to the hour. We are so grateful for everyone out here that has joined us today. We're grateful for the book reference, and if you want to check the notes, Michelle has a little story of how it came. It's such a powerful way to help her along her journey. So guys, some great information here. If you didn't catch the whole thing, you want to get the recording, but you want to also connect with us. So I'm going to turn it over to Alicia or Valerie to go ahead and close us out.
I wanted to a quick one point here, then maybe, and then Alicia can close us out. Yeah, what you said was so powerful, Keisha, and that whole thing about when you catch yourself going down that rabbit hole, if you catch yourself going into the negativity, the best thing, the most powerful thing that you can do is to, when you catch it, is to go, wow, I caught it. That means you're separating yourself. You're becoming aware of those negative thoughts. You're separating from it. You are, at that moment in time, you're connected to source. You're connected to reality. You're connected to who you really are, your power, your wisdom, your source, your abundance, all of that. And the moment, and when you notice it, is to go, yes, and give yourself credit. You can have, that's where you can have absolute gratitude for the fact that you noticed it. Because that means you're separate, and that even takes you to an even higher vibration. So the most ironic thing is, what becomes the best thing is you go down that rabbit hole, because then you snap out of it and go, wow. And the more times you catch yourself doing it, because when you guys are going to become conscious of it, you may find yourself, you're doing it thousands of times a day, right? The cool part is, if you, don't beat yourself, yeah, I said not beating yourself up, because then that takes you down the negative energy. You want the gratitude so that you attract, giving the very fact that you went into it, and that brings into the awareness that all the quote-unquote bad things that have happened in our lives have been there because it's like a slingshot. You know, you go in, it seems like you're going down, then you realize, oh wow, I went there. Oh, I didn't need to buy into that. Like, and the realization is so powerful that of who you really are, and that you've separated from it, giving yourself that credit, it slingshots you forward in vibration and everything that you attract to you. So it's thank you so much for all of that. I think, I don't know, Alicia, if you want to close this out. Otherwise, we have an incredible next week coming up. I'm going to pass it over to you.
Oh yes. So to be able to apply some of these concepts is like Valerie says, to be more aware, but also connect with us in the community we have, to learn how we deal with certain things is so much powerful. You learn from other people's experiences. Like I learned from these super women right here with me, and how people deal with certain situations. And inside of the link below is all the resources and products that we do to take that laws and things that we learn and be able to apply it more deeply into our lives. So there's a lot of different levels that you can connect with us inside to teach you how you can deal with this in a much stronger way. So you keep building up on these strong experiences, these strong trainings that you get inside, just clicking the link below and going through and getting involved in us and in the community. So make sure you do your homework for next week. We're studying the psycho-cybernetics, and really creating that better image of us, which is so more powerful. I love that, just the imagery of people and what they want to see themselves as inside and out. And make sure you read up on that book. I know I've got access to a free PDF if everyone just wants to skim through it, find some really hot spots that they want to come out and share what was really powerful for them. So check us out at the same time next week, and we look forward to seeing you guys there and seeing you get involved in us. Reach out to us. Anybody who invited you here, reach back out to them, and be grateful that you found this information, and be able to connect with us in a deeper way. And look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks for coming so much. Bye, guys.
And God bless.